Here you see typical tools of the trade used in installing our structural insulated panels. Most of these tools are tools that you will see on a regular job site. Besides the hot foam scoop, almost every tool here can be purchased at a local hardware store. Detail 2A, placing a panel over a concrete slab. Prior to setting the wall panel, place a piece of half-inch treated plywood over the slab with the plate on top of it bolted down as per code. Caulk the bottom of the panel and then tilt the panel up into position with both panel skins resting on the CDX plywood. Make sure the panel is plumb and square, and then you can connect it at the corner. Detail 5A, panel to panel connection. To help your panels come together once they have been caulked, the use of a sledgehammer along the outside helps to bring the panels together. You want to make sure the panels are plumb, level, and square as you bring them together. Once the panels are set, be sure to use your nail gun and nail them every 6 inches on center with 8D nails. Be sure there's room at the corner to bring them together. If you are having trouble bringing your panels together, the use of ratchet straps and plates will help bring the panels together. Simply place a plate on either side, put the screws on the outside of the ratchets, and then pull the ratchets slightly together. You'll notice that will bring the panels together fairly easily. You're then ready to move on to your next panel. Stand your panel up and allow it to fall down with both skins resting on the plate. Detail 5A, connecting your wall panels together. Prior to connecting your panels, be sure to caulk the joints on both the bottom and on the sides of the panels. Stand them up from the inside, being careful not to over press them so they fall to the outside. The panels can be pushed together once they have been set, sometimes using a sledgehammer to help nudge them along, and typically vibrating the panel along the bottom will help as well. You want to make sure your panels are tight together at the joints, and then once they have been put together, they will be nailed at 6 inches on center with 8D nails along the panel joints and along the bottom plates. Detail 7, the corner joint connection. Prior to placing your panels, take a measurement to be sure the panel is of the proper length. If it's too long or too short, it will need to be trimmed properly. If it is too long, you will need to use your hot foam scoop to remove 1.5 inches of foam prior to placing your 2x corner plate into the panel. Prior to standing the panel, place your screws into the outside skin so that when the panel is up, you are ready to attach it at the corners. Once the panel is in place, knock it, make sure it's plumb level and square, and then screw your long panel screws from one corner joint into the other. Detail 36, window and door cutouts. Panels can be ordered with the windows and the doors already pre-cut out of the panels. We can also install the lumber around the openings to make your installation go faster. Once your panels have all been set and in place, you will want to check the top of the panels to be sure everything is plumb and level. Sometimes the use of a planer to trim down the top to make sure it is level helps. Detail 35, a header or knee wall. Prior to placing your header, You will place jacks into either panel on either side of the opening. The headers are then slid down from the top into the panels and onto the jacks that are supporting it. As the header is slid down, be sure it is level and square. And then once it is lowered into place, you will need to nail it into the panel skins once again using your 8D nails and nailing it at 6 inches on center on both the inside and the outside skins. Your header is now complete and in place. Detail 1C. Applying the top cap over your wall panel once it has been set. Once the wall panel has been set and your top plate is in the top of your panel, take your caulk and run a bead along the top of the panel. The top cap, which is typically 4.5 inches wide or 6.5 inches wide depending on the width of your panel, needs to rest on both of the OSB skins. Place the top cap down and then nail it in with your nail gun with 8D nails at 6 inches on center. Detail 10A, setting a flat ceiling panel. Once you have raised your panel and caulked the top of your walls, place your flat ceiling panel over the SIP walls. Once your panel has been placed onto the walls, you will use the long panel screws to attach it to your walls. If you're having difficulty bringing your panels together, once again, the use of ratchet straps will help pull your panels together. You must screw them in and then use the ratchet strap to slowly pull them together. Detail 1C, installing your panel over a 2x plate. Prior to setting your panels, you will need to install a bottom plate over your floor deck or slab. You will set the plate 1/2 inch from the outside edge so that the panel skins rest down on the floor deck flush to the exterior of your floor deck. The bottom plate is glued and nailed to the floor deck. At your corners, make sure to leave 1/2 inch between the corners for the panel skin to pass, and then once again you're going to glue and nail down the bottom plate to your floor deck, leaving the 1/2 inch gap. Prior to setting your corners, you will want to caulk and place your screws into the corners of the panels so that they are ready to set when they are put together. The panels are placed down over top of your bottom plate that has been caulked off, and they'll be glued and nailed at 6 inches on center with 8D nails. Prior to placing your flat ceiling panel over a wall, be sure to place a bead of caulk along the top of the wall. The panel is then ready to be placed. Notice that we have used some braces along the bottom of the roof panel to help us guide along where it will set on top of the wall. This will keep it from sliding down while you are trying to place the panel. Once your panel has been placed on the roof, you will then use the long panel screws to affix the panel into the roof. The panel screws should be 1.5 inches longer than the panel is thick. The screws are placed on minimally 2 foot on center. Be sure to run a bead of caulk along the panel joint, typically along the warm side of the building. This is the same for all roof panels. It helps to run a planer along the panel joint to make sure that the panels will slide together much easier. typically along the bottom of the spline. Once again, using the plates to help you position the panel. Detail 31, panel to panel connection using a solid spline. As you are placing your panels together, be sure to caulk the spline joints. It is also recommended that you bevel the corner of the spline prior to bringing your panels together. This will make it easier. Placing the panels, you want to keep pressure on one side of the panel as you try to pull them together. Typically, once you get one of your sides together in the position you want it, you want to tack it down first. Once again, the use of the ratchet straps will help hold your panels in place and bringing them together. Once your panels are in place, use your long panel screws placed every 2 feet on center to hold them in place, and be sure to use your 8D nails every 6 inches on center along the panel splines.
All right. Boom. And that's a wrap.